If instead of working off the fake it till you make it, what about believe it till you make it? And just take one step at a time.
So have confidence or belief in what you already know or what you're already doing.
What you already know, what you're already doing, the people around you, and the processes that are in place.
If you want more time, money, freedom, and have a business that's not reliant on you, then you're in the right place. Each week, Mark Creedon, along with some of the very best business minds in the world, will take you through simple, practical steps you can take to create the business you always wanted. From his own practical experience, Mark will show you how to work less, make more, and get the business you always wanted, the one that you deserve. Now here's your host, one of Australia's most sought-after business coaches, Mark Creedon.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Mastermind for Business podcast. And as always, I'm sitting here with Nick in the chair.
Thank you.
Man, it's been a while, hasn't it? We sort of went on a little bit of hiatus, trying to reorganize some things, do some things differently. But anyway, enough about us. Let's get into it.
I want to talk more about us.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure people don't want to hear more about us.
Fair.
What I want to talk about today is the concept of what do you do when you get a bit lost? So what we find is around this time of the year, we're recording this in February, we find sort of the first quarter, people often feel a bit lost because they've often come off a really big finish at the end of the calendar year and you know, they get themselves back into the swing of things, but they feel a little bit lost about direction in their business or what they should be focusing on. Or the other thing is they come back with a whole bunch of ideas and they're pushing forward with all these ideas, but there's almost too much happening, right?
Sure.
So what we want to do is try and help them to working out what are the things that they should be focusing on in order to get themselves ahead. So let's get into that. Before we do that, though, I want to talk about a book I read a couple of weeks ago. So I read Ant Middleton's The Wall. Ant Middleton is former SBS, which is Special Boat Service, not Special Air Service. He's a former SBS trooper, I don't think call them troopers, but you know, he's a Special Forces soldier.
Yep.
He's the host of Who Dares Wins in the UK and SAS Australia. And we actually had a chance, Caroline and I had the opportunity to meet Ant Middleton at a presentation he did. And you know the thing I loved about it, mate, is that I reckon there would have been probably 150 people there to meet him.
Yep.
I reckon we would have been, 80 and 81 or 90 and 91. You would have sworn we were the first people he'd met that night.
Yeah. Yep.
He just had that thing about him. But anyway, so there's a book called The Wall. And what he says is that everybody meets a wall of some sort, do you know, like professionally, personally, and you've got to be prepared for it. And he made this comment that really resonated with me. This is long-winded, but I'm going to get to it. And he talks about, you've heard the saying, fake it till you make it.
Sure.
Right. That's always made sense to me. Yeah. Well, you know, if you're not quite there, then fake it till you get there.
Yep.
Right. Here's what Ant Middleton says about fake it till you make it. It's bullshit.
Right.
Right. And the reason he says it's bullshit is because he goes, do you know what? If you believe in your ability to get to the point that you're aiming for, then you aren't faking it. You're not faking it till you make it. You're just taking step after step after step toward what it is that you want to achieve.
Right. Makes sense.
Well, it does make sense. And I thought about that and it got me thinking about, you know, what we talk about with our clients in our mastermind program is that somebody comes and says, I want to not work 60 hours a week. So we can go, well, I mean, how does the fake it till you make it work? Oh, well, just start not coming in 3 days a week and just hope things work and just fake it until the whole thing goes to shit and falls apart.
It doesn't work for that, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But the other thing is if instead of working off the fake it till you make it, what about believe it till you make it? And just take one step at a time.
So have confidence or belief in what you already know or what you're already doing.
What you already know, what you're already doing, the people around you, and the processes that are in place.
Okay.
Right? So he talks as a Special Forces operator. He talks about the fact that they have like just ridiculous training. So they know what they're doing, but they also rely on their mates. They rely on their colleagues.
Sure.
So rely on the people, because one of the things that we see, so one of the big things that we help people with is to get freedom back in their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to stop working crazy hours and get more time in their life and less time in their business. And one of the hardest barriers to break through is getting people to actually let go, and that comes to trusting the people around them,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
Now, you and I have had a conversation about this fairly recently in terms of your business and some of the stuff that you're doing. Nobody can do it quite as well as me.
No one can do it as good as you, can they?
No.
Well, that's your belief anyway.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But maybe it's more so. I mean, I think sometimes it's maybe not necessarily that someone can't do it as good as you, but maybe you feel that it would take you longer to teach someone how to do it.
Right. It's just quicker if I do it myself.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's what I call a short-term solution to a long-term problem.
Yeah. Band-Aid, right?
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
But I really like this idea and how he came about with this. Don't worry about fake it till you make it. Believe that you can just get to the next step. And here's the example he used in the book. He used an example from the TV show SAS Australia. So if anybody listening to this hasn't seen the program, the concept is they get a bunch of people together and they put them through a kind of an SAS selection course. If Mick's listening to this, my mate Mick from the SAS, will be spinning around on the spot going, it's actually nothing like a fucking SAS course. But it's kind of it's a course they put people through and they try and stretch their limits, right? Emotionally, psychologically, physically, they stretch their limits.
Yep.
And what he used, there was an example where the participant had to get into a car, do the seatbelt up, the car was lifted up by a crane, dropped into the river or into a lake. They had to wait until it hit rock bottom. It was probably a pool, in fact. They had to wait till it hit rock bottom. They had to undo their seatbelt and they had to crawl out through the back window. The back window had already been taken out.
Right.
So the purpose of it was to see whether you could just, follow the process, trust yourself, believe that you could do it, not panic. Mm-hmm. And there was this one person who went, I'm out. I can't do that. And so Ant went.
Before it had started?
Before it had started.
Right.
Like once they showed it to her, she went,
no chance.
No chance. I'm out of here, man.
She's probably the smartest one, though.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah. It's like parachuting. Why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Right.
Sounds crazy to me.
What Middleton said to her was, okay, cool. Here's the thing. Can you sit in the car and put a seatbelt on? Yep. Okay. Can you let the car hit the water? Then, can you hold your breath for 30 seconds? Because that's how long it takes for the car to sink to the bottom. Do you know how to undo a seatbelt? Right?
Yep.
And so all he did was just break it down. So rather than faking it till you make it with that concept of, if I rev myself up and I'll fake it and I'll
be able to do it.
Yeah, I'll be able to do it. Whereas he's going, no. Just do this. And then just do this.
You actually can do it.
Yeah.
You actually know how to do it.
Yep.
But you seem like you have to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Even though you already have the steps there.
Yeah, that's right. And so that was the point. And it just really resonated with me, Nick, because I just thought, well, when we try and get people to do things differently in their business or to get more freedom for themselves, I can't leave my manager in charge of the business for 6 weeks. Okay, no problem. Can you leave him in charge for an hour and a half? Right? If you've got 400 things on your daily, weekly, monthly list, and they have you're crazy, but can you just get rid of 2 of them?
Yeah.
I can't give all that. Nick, I've heard it. That's impossible, Mark. I can't give all those things away. Okay, don't. Give one away.
Start somewhere.
Give one away. Can you cope with that? So it was a really interesting thing, and I thought it was well worth sharing.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I definitely like the idea of faking it till you make it actually doesn't even exist.
No, that's right.
It is just bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit. So you just believe.
Yeah. Yep. And you actually already probably have the skills or the knowledge or whatever to do something that you think is unachievable.
Now, I didn't intend this when we first started recording this, but it's kind of a nice segue to say that I'm working on a book at the moment called The Belief Blueprint.
Oh, there you go.
Right? The Belief Blueprint, how belief impacts your business and can fast track your path to freedom.
Yep.
So I just think if anybody's listening to this now and going, I would really like to get some more time. I just feel trapped by my business. I feel locked in. And I've tried doing things. I've tried delegating, but I end up working all hours of the night to get stuff done. Don't sit there and think, this means I've got to, employ a manager and hand everything over to that person. It doesn't mean that. It means you just got to do one thing and then do another thing and then do another thing.
I think we can get so overwhelmed these days too, because, you go on social media for 5 seconds and you see 20 people doing 10 times more than you, 10 times better than you. And, that can be so soul crushing and can really give you this sense of imposter syndrome. So I think
Yep.
being able to believe in what what you do, and that, you don't have to compare yourself to others, that's something that you need to learn, right?
Well-
That's not something that you just have. Some people do,
Yeah,
not
no,
everybody.
but you're right. But you know what? It's one of those things where if you think about what you see on social media, I'll give you an example, right? I knew this coach, no names mentioned, who used to run all these ads on social media all the time of him sitting in the back of his Rolls Royce. And you could see the embroidered on the back of the headrest behind him.
Yep.
The truth is, his brother was a Rolls Royce salesperson.
Yeah. It's like when you see those guys that are just, you're on economy and I'm sitting in first class, or I'm on my private jet, but they're actually in those private Instagram private jet things that don't even go anywhere. They're just a fake room. It's a studio.
Yeah, that's right. So you don't really know. So you start comparing yourself. And actually, I can give you an example. So there was a coach I knew, and I used to really admire her. And I remember saying to Caroline, she's just like, she's killing it, man. Like, look at the stuff she's doing. She's flying here and flying there and always flying first class. And like, how good's that? But when I got to know her, because she wanted to bounce some ideas around, and I realized it was predominantly smoke and mirrors. So yes, she was flying first class, but she was using every bit of her last dollar to do it.
Yeah. For appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's essentially her audience, or the confidence that her audience has in her isn't built around her skills or her knowledge, but it's around the appearance that she's putting out there, right? The perception that she's putting out to people.
And, the other thing Michael Yardney often says is that you see this social media stuff, but you don't know what's on the cutting room floor.
Oh, 100%. I think, I'm guilty of it as well. See stuff out there and be like, oh, I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not as good. I don't have all of that. I don't, I see some production companies that are, producing these really, really great videos, and you think, gosh, I wish I could do that. But at the same time, you've got to think, okay, well, maybe it's a matter of, if I was to go back 2 years, 3 years, and look at what I'm doing now, I'd be thinking the exact same things.
Yeah.
It's that day one versus day 3,000.
Yeah.
I'm at day one, they're at day 3,000. Why am I comparing myself to someone who's doing that? It's the same with your fitness journey. You're on, oh, mate, they're doing all this stuff on a daily basis, and they're taking all these supplements and whatever, and I'm only doing this. There's got to do more, more.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to do it in little increments. You have to start small. You have to start somewhere, and you will add things as you go along. You will upskill. You will gain more knowledge. But to expect all of that to come to you at the very start is unrealistic.
It is. I'm working with Ollie from Body Reset. So if anybody's looking to get onto a program about body reset, Ollie's program's great. But the thing that I learned from that was, I would always sort of try and get fit, and I'd join a gym, and I'd go to a few sessions, and then I'd get bored, or then things would get in the way, or whatever. But what Ollie did for me was changed my mindset first. So I went to the gym. I don't know if I've told you this. I went to the gym a couple of weeks ago, and I finished the session that he had set up for me. And I met Caroline afterwards. She goes, "Oh, how'd you go?" I went, "I actually really enjoyed it."
Yeah.
Right now, I reckon that's the first time. Michael Yardney I was talking to him on the phone one day, and he said, "What are you up to?" And I went, "I'm off to the gym." He goes, "Do you like it?" I went, "No, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. I get there. I hate it from when I get there. I hate it while I'm doing it. I feel better when I'm finished.
Yeah.
But I actually hate it."
Yeah. Well, look, there's probably going to be days where you don't want to do it. There's definitely days where, you don't.
They're the days you should do it, though.
But they are the days you should do it. But it's like, if there's certain things, like for me, I hate cardio.
Yeah.
I hate running.
Yeah, me too.
When I was a kid or a teenager, I could run and just run and have no music in or anything, and just run.
Yeah.
For hours on end.
Yeah.
Now,
It's because your mother was chasing you with a fly swatter, probably.
could be. But, now I have so many things to think about. I'm overthinking absolutely everything. I have so many things going on in my brain that to just run is just, it's 2 minutes feels like a lifetime
Yeah.
of just running with no other stimulation. So for me, doing cardio, you've got to find something that's fun.
Yeah.
You've got to find something that you actually enjoy, because then it doesn't feel like it's hard work. It doesn't feel like you don't want to do it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know how we got there. But
Well, because we were talking about the concept of things you like, things you don't like, and I just said one thing at a time. So rather than trying to go, I'm going to get fit, like what Ollie did for me is, okay, let's reset your gut first, right? So we went on a little 30-day plan of no alcohol. What was it? No alcohol, no dairy, no gluten, no refined sugars, no fun, right? For 30 days. But what that did was it enabled me to go, oh, okay, well, I can actually do that.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the issue with seeing the people on social media, is that they are doing all these huge list of things, and you just think, that's unachievable.
Yeah,
right now, I'm doing nothing.
Yep.
How am I now meant to do 32 extra things a week or whatever to look like that, or to achieve what I want to achieve?
Yeah.
But it's purely, you just have to start small.
Yeah.
Start in little steps, and add things as you go along. You'll find things that work for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever you do, whether you're a carpenter or you make videos, whatever it is that you do, you're a business coach, whatever it is you do, you will start off small and you'll add things as you go along.
Yeah.
It's great to take inspiration
Yes.
from those people on social media. So when you see people that are doing well, it's great to not let that defeat you. Use it as inspiration.
Yes. I reckon that's a really big thing. So we sort of started off talking about Ant Middleton and his idea of the concept that fake it till you make it is bullshit.
Yeah.
But this to me links into talking about how people get clarity. And I think how they get clarity is by working on just small things at a time.
Yeah.
Just one step at a time, moving one step forward. And then I think there's a mindset shift. So when you see somebody on social media who's doing really well, rather than berating yourself because you haven't reached that level, because you don't really know how real it is anyway, but I'd rather look at it and go, you know what? How cool is that? If they can do that, then I can do that.
Yeah. And it makes it seem more achievable.
Yeah.
If you tick off things one by one.
Yeah.
So it's, a little bit different, but I used to create big, long lists of things that I need to do.
Yep.
Things I want to do in my life, or things I want to do today even.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's a big, long list.
Yep.
Now I make short little lists.
Yeah.
Because my big, long lists, I would feel so defeated when I looked at the end of the day, or the end of the week, end of the year, whatever it was.
Yep.
As if I'd only ticked off half of them.
3 of the 12.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
felt, oh, this is just unachievable. I can't do it. So you lose motivation.
Yeah.
But if I have a small list,
Yeah.
and I ticked off everything on that list,
How cool is that?
well, mate, I've achieved something.
Yeah.
The sense of achievement is much higher. So, it just makes sense to, I guess, go at things one by one, and add things as you go, and tick things off as you go, rather than trying to achieve it all at once, or comparing yourself to someone who has already achieved it all.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that is if they actually have. But I reckon there's an adjunct to that too, because the things that you put on your list, imagine if you had like a medium list and a good percentage of those, because we always talk about this in Mastermind, you preloaded your calendar.
Yeah.
Right. So if you put those things in, and now they're locked in for next week, next month, next year, whatever it might be, they're now locked in. You take them out of your head. You're not stressing about not
Having to
getting
do
to them
them. Yeah.
because they're actually locked in at a dedicated
It can
time.
happen no matter what.
Correct. Yeah. So now they're locked down. I mean, I love preloading my calendar on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and I do it on an annual basis. But I love doing it because it just takes it, for me, it takes it out of the above the net computer.
Yeah.
Sure. And takes it off. And so now my to-do list now becomes a short list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as long as what it was before, or near as daunting. And then the end.
It's achievable.
Yeah. The end product seems a lot more achievable.
Well, it comes a lot closer to you, right?
Yes.
Once it comes closer, it seems more achievable.
Yep.
So we started off talking about getting some direction, because if people lose direction, we went into the concept of Ant Middleton's book, Reaching the Wall, which I'll talk more about over the next couple of episodes because there's some great gems in there. And then we spoke about how what he essentially was saying, that, fake it till you make it is bullshit, because it's about believing that you can not climb the mountain, but take the next step. Another example he used, he actually climbed K2. Now, I'm told that K2 is much tougher than Everest by a long way. So, and he said, he didn't set out going, right, I have to climb K2. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. But all he set out was base camp 1.
Yep.
And you know what? If I never move beyond base camp 1, I've already achieved something that 99.9% of the population will never achieve in their life.
Yeah.
So then if I get to base 2 now, I'm 99.9995%. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just that. And I just think that if you're getting confused and overwhelmed and like, what do I do? What do I do next? And what do I work on? Maybe it's a matter of just finding what's the next. I mean, what do we say at the end of every intensive, the sessions we have at the Gold Coast is, guys, for our mastermind members, guys, I want you to find the right next thing.
Yeah, the thing you can do right now.
Yep.
Not the millions of things that you have to do in the next 10 years.
Yep.
What's the thing that you can do right now that will make an impact or start a momentum shift or a change in the direction that you want to go?
It's going to shift the needle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the next episode, I want to talk to you about our Clarity Compass, right? We've spoken a little bit about the Clarity Compass, but the Clarity Compass is a tool where we look at sort of four points. I mean, if you were to get lost in the desert or the desert, what's one piece of equipment you'd like to have with you?
In the desert?
In the desert, yep.
God, that's hard, isn't it? I don't know, maybe I was going to say a flint, but
I was going to say a water bottle.
yeah, probably. But I mean, if in the desert, there's not a lot of water around, is there?
No, that's right. But probably a compass, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
unless you're like Ant or Mick Donaldson, then you can navigate by the stars or the sun or whatever it is that these guys are amazing at. A compass, because the compass will stop you walking around in circles.
I reckon I'd still walk around in circles. But that's just me.
So what I want to talk about in the next episode, Nick, is our Clarity Compass, because the concept of the Clarity Compass is that it's a bit like again, we find people start to walk around in circles in their business. And so we go, do you know what? Let's find a way by just working on 4 points. And the 4 points are really simple. They are, what are your 12-month to 3-year goals? What are your core values? What's your purpose? And what are your strategic anchors? So it's, what's your goal? Where do you want to get there? What do you want to achieve? Your values, what's going to guide you and drive you? Your purpose, where's the meaning?
Sure.
Yeah. And finally, what are the things that are going to really keep you stuck, strategically anchored to that? And what I'm going to do is, I've done this exercise. I'm going to share next week my compass points, exactly what they are for me, and how we've designed them in our business. And then, obviously give the listeners the opportunity to apply it to theirs.
Oh, cool.
Cool. There we go. Nice to have you back.
Not too bad. Not
Yeah.
too rusty.
No, I think we did all right. Guys, these are the sort of things that we teach in our mastermind program. If you'd like to know more about that, Metropole Mastermind or mastermindforbusiness.com.au, metropolemastermind.com.au. If there's something in particular that you would love to hear about, jump onto our socials, put a comment in YouTube, let us know a topic you'd love us to cover off on, and we will gladly do it for you. This is Mark Creedon. Until we speak next time, please make sure you spend time with those who matter most.